Brian Dietzen, known for his role as Dr. Jimmy Palmer on NCIS, shared his poignant thoughts on how he envisions his character's end after 2 decades with the show. During a panel at the 2024 Monte Carlo Television Festival, Dietzen expressed his desire for Jimmy Palmer to face ALS, a disease that would profoundly impact his character, known for his expertise in human anatomy. Dietzen's wish isn't just a scripted death but a meaningful portrayal that could raise awareness and add depth to the long-running series. His vision reflects a deep personal investment in his role, aiming to give Jimmy Palmer a poignant farewell that resonates with viewers. "I'm really moved by how NCIS actor Brian Dietzen wants Jimmy Palmer to die after 20 years on the show." After 20 years on NCIS, the actor who plays Dr. Jimmy Palmer, Brian Dietzen, revealed how he wants his character to die, and I thought it was moving. The actor has been with the show since 2004, when he appeared in a guest role late in Season 1. While Palmer was originally featured sporadically as an assistant to Dr. Mallard, his role eventually evolved into a series regular, with Jimmy ultimately becoming the team's chief medical examiner. Brian Dietzen's NCIS character plays a crucial role in the series, but the actor has considered how it will end. As the franchise prepares for NCIS Season 22, Brian Dietzen is one of the series' senior cast members, and I think he's one of the most important. He and his co-star Sean Murray are the only remaining series regulars featured in NCIS Season 1. I'm sad to think about the loss of the Jimmy Palmer character, but I believe that the way Brian Dietzen wants it to happen brings a beautiful sense of purpose to his death. The series has lost many main characters, and I'm always sad to see my favorite ones go. Jimmy Palmer is undoubtedly no exception. Brian Dietzen said he wants NCIS Jimmy to contract ALS. Dietzen was part of a panel with Wilmer Valderrama, Michael Weatherly, and Cote de Pablo. In June 2024, a group of NCIS actors sat down for a panel discussion at the 2024 Monte Carlo Television Festival. The panel comprised Wilmer Valderrama and Brian Dietzen from the current cast of NCIS and former cast members Michael Weatherly and Cote de Pablo of the upcoming spin-off NCIS, Tony and Ziva. During the panel, Wilmer Valderrama suggests he wanted his Nick Torres character to die in a storm of bullets. However, Dietzen had a more profound death in mind for his Jimmy Palmer character. Dietzen wants Jimmy to contract ALS, also known as Lou Gehrig's disease. Dietzen confirmed that he had thought about Jimmy's death before. "I felt that it was moving that Dietzen had considered his character's death in terms of how it could spread positive awareness for a cause that is bigger than himself and his character." While there have been many moving NCIS deaths over the years as characters depart the show, I think that what Brian Dietzen has laid out for his character is a way to make the show more significant than a police procedural and character drama, and that NCIS needs to support the narrative at all costs. Why Dr. Jimmy Palmer dying from ALS would be so meaningful in NCIS. Brian Dietzen's character is a knowledgeable doctor. Jimmy's death from ALS would be meaningful because Jimmy is a doctor and scientist, typically in control of human anatomy. Jimmy has dealt with hundreds of dead bodies in NCIS and can solve many world problems through scientific processes. Brian Dietzen mentioned this in the panel discussion, and I think it shows that the actor has invested thought into the final development of his character. It makes sense that after 20 years on the show, Dietzen has a personal investment in the role and wants to give his Jimmy character a meaningful goodbye after 2 decades on television. What stuck with me was Dietzen's vision of his character grappling with the disease over time. The actor suggested that the character may try to cover up his shortcomings at first, and I think it would be deeply moving to watch Jimmy experience that on screen. If Dietzen can establish an authentic portrayal of the disease, which I think the actor is capable of, it could be one of the most profound deaths the show has ever seen. I believe it's fitting for Jimmy's character to struggle with something internal and personal rather than dying in the line of fire. How Jimmy's disease would affect his role in NCIS. Brian Dietzen's character would become the source of loss. Jimmy's contracting ALS will profoundly affect his role in NCIS. A central part of Jimmy Palmer's character development, especially in recent seasons, is that he shoulders a heavy amount of grief. He said goodbye to MCR team members Eleanor Bishop and Gibbs in NCIS seasons 18 and 19. Most significantly, Dr. Palmer also lost his wife, Brina, to COVID-19 in season 18. I think the most significant change to Dietzen's character is that he will have to stop focusing so much on his loss and shift his perspective to the loss others will experience after his death. The shift from Jimmy being the victim of loss in his world to the source of it would be a wake-up call. The shift from Jimmy being the victim of loss in his world to the source of it would be a wake-up call. He would be forced to focus entirely on how grief would affect his daughter Victoria, preparing her to navigate the world after the death of both her parents. Suppose the show did choose to pile on more loss for Dietzen's character. In that case, I think it would be essential for Jimmy and Victoria to experience a new chapter of happiness in the next few seasons before his character experiences more tragedy.